Good morning, learners. Welcome to our today's English lesson. That is going to be a continuation of what we had begun some time back when we looked at direct and indirect speech. So today we are going to look at another category of direct speech. That is going to be on direct speech with a medial verb. So because we already know what is a direct speech, like I remember telling you in your English aid, we did so many examples like the man says, I have taken my box. So the actual word spoken by the man there was, I have taken my box. That are the actual words spoken by the man. Hence, those words direct spoken by the man is what we call direct speech. We enclose them using a speech marks. The opening speech marks come first, and the end speech marks come then after the full stop. So meaning, as we open, we put a capital letter, and so we begin with a capital letter, and then a full stop comes before the word, before the end of words. So we are not only going to put a full stop, but it depends on the sentence. The sentence may require a question mark, a sentence may require an exclamation mark, a sentence may require a comma, and etc. So we are going to look to see them in this our work today. Remember that when you are just beginning a sentence, you must begin, after opening speech, you must begin with the capital letter, and that is the marking point today. So we are going to go to know what is a medial verb. What is a medial verb, learner? And I'm going to show that medial verb in this our example. So the word from the word mid, a medial verb. A medial verb is simply the verb that comes in the middle. And here you can see this is our example. Stop writing and put your pens down, said the teacher. So the teacher said this. So the word said here becomes our medial verb. This is the medial verb. So we are seeing our medial verb has come in the middle of these two speech marks. We are saying stop writing and put your pens down, comma, and we have ended that. There's a comma and there's end of quotes of the first word spoken by the teacher. Then we are measuring, say the teacher, and then there's also another comma, and then we are beginning another, something else is adding, and stand up on your feet, full stop, and then end of quote. So if you are a very keen learner here, we are seeing the first one there, the end of the first one, then beginning of the second one is there, and then end of that second one. So that this direct speech with the medial verb, learner, is what we are now, as well in class 7. This is what you will now interact with a number of times. When you go to class 8, the same will also be there. You'll really interact with several sentences like this, and you must know how to punctuate it. And that is what we are doing today. Its punctuation looks like this. You look at the end, the first sentence spoken by that word, spoken by the man who is speaking, or just the person who is speaking. Stop writing and put your pens down. You must quote that. You must put an end of that before you go to say it. So just begin. We have begun. Open the speech mark. Then read it up to where you should put a comma. Then close that one also. Then write. There said the teacher. You may see there exclaimed mother. We cannot only say we may not only use the word said, but we can use other verbs like a number of verbs like this one, exclaimed mother. Can also use very many verbs like you can talk of asked. Normally say talk of asked, and when talk of asked mother, for example, you put a question mark. Asked mother, for example. We may use some like answered. So when somebody answers, we normally put a full stop. When somebody answers, and when somebody replied, somebody may also reply. Replied John, we also put a full stop. So these are the verbs that we intend to use there. You can talk of asked, you can talk of said that we are just used there now. And then we also can use the word exclaimed, explained John, or can talk of exclaimed Thomas, for example. So all these verbs that I've just written here can be used in this category. They can come as a medial verb in that category. So I'm going to give one example here. Another example. And I have just given one, so I'm giving the second one. Number 2. Hobbies, opened and then closed. Hobbies, explained the teacher. Hobbies, explained. So this is the medial verb there. We have the first one, ended here. Then we have a medial verb there, explain the teacher. And then you can see end of it. Then we begin another one. I'm supposed to put it here, but because there's no space, we have opening, and then you say help to develop one's talent. Helps develop. Helps, because we're beginning another one. We must begin a capital letter. Helps to develop one's talent. Develop one's talents. And then we end. A full stop comes before we end. So let's read it again. Hobbies, explain the teacher. Help to develop one's talent. So the only medial verb that we have is this one. And then we have 2. The first word that the teacher has spoken, and then the second one that the teacher spoke was the last one here, helps develop one's talents. So now you can see how to punctuate that. You don't just come and say open, you open, and don't want to close the here, then you come maybe and don't open another one, because this was the word is the first spoken before you talk of explain, because the teacher is the one who has just explained the word hobby. So you must end, because these are the actual words spoken by the speaker. Then you tell us the person who has just explained, and then you continue with another thing that is said after this. The next thing he said after this was helps develop one's talent. What's another example has been given there? And hence, maybe I look at another example before you finally settle on the work. Type these letters immediately. Type these letters immediately. Type these letters immediately. Say Joe. And take them to the post office. So now I've just given a sentence. We want us together to punctuate this one according to whatever I've just mentioned. So in the beginning, now we begin by putting an opening speech mark, because these are the first words spoken by this person. Somebody is being instructed to type the letters. So type these letters immediately. And then we end. Before we end, we put a comma. We end that particular direct. Normally we talk about direct speech here, and those are the direct words spoken by the speaker. Type these letters immediately. We end, and then we come here, and we talk of this. Say the word said here is our medial verb. Said John. After said John, we put a comma. And then we begin the next one. And take it. So and before and, because we are here, we have an opening speech mark there. Ensure this one is capitalized. And take them to the post office. We will sing a full stop here. So after the full stop is when we put the what? The closing speech mark. The closing speech mark will come after this full stop here. So now I don't have any other objection. If you really followed what you have done, then we're not going to have any problem in this exercise that we are going to do. We're going to do a very simple exercise here on page in your primary English book, on page 85. Under speech mark, direct speech with the medial verbs. Please, learner, go through that explanation that is given there. If you are not understood me well, please go through it to understand it well, and then do that. So that is there. We all know have 4 questions there. We've been told below are some sentences spoken by the pupils during the lesson. Put in the necessary punctuation marks. So we have the first one. Cut around the edge of the stump, said Muheso, and let it float on cold water for a few minutes. So following this exactly the one we've just done here. Just put your punctuation marks. Ensure that you have speech marks at the beginning, where we are talking of the person who was spoken. Like here, we talk of said John. Here you can see there said Muheso. So meaning our comma is going to be before said, and you end that word, actual word spoken by Muheso. And then beginning of and, you will put an opening speech mark. And then you end that. So do those 4 questions. They are on number A to B. So Lana, if you are very keen, today we have begun using our primary English, because most of the work that we are doing, most of the work that are in this book, the English aid book, are done. This book contains a lot of things that we have done. We have been doing since we began learning, and hence most of the work that is remaining here is they are very simple, like common mistakes. There's that one aspect we didn't do, like one word for many, a person who looks after our teeth. Those ones I can't do, learner. They are very simple. A person who sells flowers is a florist. A person who sells fruits. I didn't mention that because these ones are simple. We also have another one here, like she has not made up her mind yet. So not made up your mind, meaning you're not decided. So those words that we normally call one word for many, I didn't look at them because they are simple. Then analogies, like feathers to birds. So dash are for fish. Those ones are simple, and we can just go through them on our own, and then try to do those exercises alone to see if you are able to do them. Scales are for fish. Soldiers are for army, as sailors are for sailors. Those were in the sea. Don't talk of crew. Or the crew. Spider is to fly. A spider eats flies. A cat eats what? Cats eat rats. So these are very simple, and that is exactly what we left. So those one learn, just go through them, and then we have what is remaining behind there. What is remaining behind there is the completion parts. Just reading those passages and giving the right answers, learner. That one we can also do on our own. And then lastly, that I didn't give you even a single one, was the test papers. Test papers in this book are very easy, just to check if you have understood what we have been learning. So as well, learner, try them. The one that you feel that you are not getting right, learner, I'm always ready to help you when you send those questions in my own number. I'll check them and give you the result. So until next time, learner, remember the exercise I just gave you. This one here. Remember this exercise and do it well. Try to punctuate those sentences. Until next time, I want to wish you well. Thank you.